what is your shirt say?
My t-shirt, yeah. So basically, if you're watching us on YouTube, maybe you can see it here, but if you're listening on the podcast, so it's the word entrepreneur spelled like wrong 3 different ways, and then it's crossed out, and at the bottom it just says, I work for myself. It's like, which is funny for today's episode because I remember the first time that I tried to spell entrepreneur was like entrepreneur and entrepreneur. It's like, hey, I just work for myself, okay? So you want to start today's episode?
I mean, there's so much to say. Do you know where to start?
I don't even know where to start. There's just so much going on right now.
Let's just chit chat.
Today we are going to talk about the entrepreneur, which would be me, and the intrapreneur.
It's me.
Yeah, actually. So there's just so much going on right now in the business. I mean, there always is. Yeah. Right? That's business.
Especially in our positions. Yeah.
Yeah. That's every day. So we're just going to run right through it and let you know what this whole thing is about. Yeah. So if you're interested to know, me being an entrepreneur, I started what I would call a hybrid business model. We are a tailoring shop that solely caters to the bride, and we focus on wedding gown alterations only. And then we also have a sewing academy in the back here in our warehouse. So the whole sewing academy idea, basically, we take care of the fittings at the front of the house, and then we do the sewing at the back of the house. And it's a hybrid business model because I had started this whole journey with my assistant, the first one that I had ever had some years ago. I've been doing bridal for like over a decade, but I've been professionally sewing for over 2 decades. But just specifically working with bridal gowns, I noticed that when I was a freelancer, I was making some really good money, right? But then I kind of like plateaued, and I was like, okay, well, I can't make any more money because I need time to sew. Right. So I can't go see another bride, go do another fitting, go collect another payday. Yeah. So I basically had to hire an assistant. And so when I did that, I had to teach her more like the in-depth stuff. Like she knew how to do like basic, like hand sewing, machine sewing. But I was like, okay, let me show you some actual like real techniques. And, let's like get into the nitty-gritty of the gowns. And so it just all kind of started there. I didn't really know what I was doing at the time. It was just like, I just need help because I need to make some money. And, and she was able to get paid pretty well too. Because I was like, okay, let's do this. And we noticed that it was pretty profitable for our talents, not just our labor, but, our talents. So the business has grew when I was freelancing and I started getting like more inquiries, and I was traveling between 2 different counties, and we're here in the Orange County area. So it's Southern California, but it's super easy to travel to like the Inland Empire from here because Orange County is in the middle between there and Los Angeles. So like we can easily position ourselves.
Yeah, it's a good location.
And just, drive to the east to the inland and drive to the west to LA. So we're like in a really prime area. And so I was like basically going all over the place. At that time I was mobile. And so I was driving like hours on end, just it seemed like all day, all night. But then I was like, okay, I need time to do sewing. Yeah. So that's where the whole assistant came in. And then once that kind of grew, then I was like, oh, I need a second one. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. If I taught my assistant how to do things at the time my way, she's also going to have to teach her assistant, right? My assistant's assistant. She's going to have to teach her how to do it our way as well, so that everything remains consistent. And then when it just kept growing and growing, then we started working out of my apartment, and then that's when you came. Yeah.
And that's why I was going to say, like, I love hearing this story because it's so motivating for me. Even I feel like being in the same situation when you started. Yes. And so coming to you and you already starting to build it, I was like, oh, let me just jump in on this because I believed in it.
Yeah. So I'll just move into like what it takes to run this business. First of all, like it takes a lot just to get the word out because I don't think people understand, like who we are still or what we do or why it's even hybrid. They're like, what do you mean? Yeah. Because it's a tailor shop and sewing academy under one roof. So basically all the people that we employ, they are our students, but they do get paid to learn a dying trade. The whole model and concept of this thing is like we're trying to train and teach the next generation of artists to challenge the status quo in a dying trade. because it is dying. There's nobody else like really teaching this because like seamstresses out there, they're just like they're a one-woman show. They just do their own thing,
and there's nothing new coming out of it.
Right. And so
they are a one-woman show, and that's what I like. That's different here is that it's a team.
Yeah, and the reason why it's a team is because we're high in demand. We've been high in demand since I started learning to give brides. You know, like they're always asking, give me more lift. I'm like, okay, in the boobs. They're like, okay, and then, you know, kind of squeeze in my belly, but then I want a butt. And I'm like, okay, so let me get this straight. It's the boobs, the belly, the butt. Okay, great. Check. So I learned how to contour that, and basically that's our signature techniques. Right. So that's how we make the gowns to fit like a glove. That's what we call our signature contouring. We're basically cutting and carving out. Like I always say, right, to all our brides, it's like we either enhance the curves you already have or gave you curves your mama never gave you. Okay?
And they love that.
Yeah. What it takes to run this business is that we have to differentiate ourselves from like what a seamstress and a tailor is first and foremost. You know, there is a seamstress basically who works in a factory and she seams pieces of fabric together, such as like there's already a pattern maker or pattern cutter that brings the pieces to the seamstress and they seam it together. Right. You know, they just sew it all up. You know, as far as tailors, on the other hand, is truly what we are. Tailors actually work on garments and then they get it to fit the body. And that's working with all the curves of the body. Right. And so I'll let you touch on that, especially when we do the contouring.
Right. I mean, because everybody's different. And I feel like with traditional seamstresses or tailors, they are looking at it as a dress with no curves. They're just putting the dress together so you can walk in a dress. And so with us, I feel like now you get the look that you're wanting. It fits you. It's your personalized dress. And that's what I think encompasses the whole wedding dress alone, because it's a one of a kind. It's all about the pictures.
Yeah, and we exist in a sense to like show our brides the full potential of your gown.
Right.
You know, I've had so many brides, they're like, wait a minute, this is my dream gown, but my gown has more potential.
Right.
You're like, yeah.
And that's my favorite part, for them to even see that, because when they do come in, they have no idea.
Yeah, so just a heads up, if you're going to come in, and we're going to show you the full potential of your gown. So, you know, the difference between also the seamstresses, they're not really trying to like fix problems that are there. And so with the academy, I have to keep building this academy. So this is like what it takes for this business. I have to keep building this academy because I have to still figure out like faster ways, you know, more efficient ways, different ways to continue to solve the same problem over and over, because I've worked with many tailors and seamstresses in different areas in the industry and in different jobs. And they're just like, oh, well, like if your bustle breaks, and the bustle is like your train being picked up and connected to your dress, they're like, oh, well, if the bustle breaks, they're like, oh, well, that's just how it is. That's the bustle. That's what it does.
That's the main
get
thing.
Your take
that's the way that it is. So there's no change. Then that's when we come in and we actually will try to have a change and fix it. We don't want it to fall off. I mean, that's the same thing.
Yeah, they're like, well, let me just go back and reinforce it. And if it falls again, well, I'll just have to reinforce it again.
No.
But that's not realistic.
So change something.
Yeah. So I've had to develop in the academy, you know, which is I work from home basically while Ashley's running the shop. So
I live here.
Yes. I partially live here when she's not here, but like after hours and on the weekends, you know, when no one's here, I'm in the shop filming. And I'm filming all the alterations so that way our students, you know, essentially can, you know, follow basically how everything's supposed to be done. Right. And at the end of it, you know, they just have to have a creative eye and be like, okay, they may not be able to follow exactly all the way to the end and be like, okay, should I layer this piece of lace with this one, or should I put them together like side by side? You know, we're also artists too.
Yeah, because there's so many different designs and styles that come through.
Yeah, but we do get like repeat gowns, and so we're able to film those alterations. And the one thing I absolutely love about bridal is that anything that goes out, like if it's out last year, it'll always come back.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So that's one thing that we call like evergreen. So it's like evergreen content that we're producing with our alterations videos, because you're always going to find something similar. And as long as you have a little bit of creativity, being an artist, and you have a designer's perspective, you have an editing eye, then that's how our students basically learn. We teach them like the system, and then they kind of just flow with the rest with their own creativity. And at the end of the day, it's also like the bride's preference whether she likes something or not, too.
Yes. So each bride, because of their preference, of course, the work will change, but I like that our business model will give you the foundation and the steps to approach it in the same way.
Yeah, so that's what our students follow, is we do everything in unison. So that way, like, if you sew on a button, or I sew on a button, or somebody else sews on a button, we're like...
It's all the same. Who did that?
Who did that? Because all the work looks the same.
Right. Because that's what you would expect going into a traditional seamstress or tailor shop. It's that one person doing it, and so it's the same work.
Right.
And as we come here as a team, that's what we're still looking for. We don't want you to see that, oh, this tailor did this, and this tailor did this.
Yeah, and so, like, it's really difficult if we didn't follow that system, because for the most part, like, Ashley and her assistant, they do all the fittings, and then we have our entire team in the back warehouse doing all the sewing. But we all know how to do all the fittings and all the sewing kind of basically the same.
Because that leads to, for me, what it takes to run the business. It takes a lot of support, too. It takes the front and the back end, and the communication and the connection to come together to serve our brides.
Yeah, so you're like the moderator between everyone. Yeah. All the brides inquiring, plus between your assistant, plus between the sewing team.
And all in between.
And all the logistics involved, as we like to say, right?
Yes.
So on that note, we'll kind of branch off into like the industry demands. So the industry demands here, especially in the Orange County, Los Angeles area, like, it's really high.
Yeah, we're in very high demand.
Yeah, so we have had, I can't say exactly, but I know, like, at least for in business that we've been in the last several years, like, every year it's kind of the same thing where we are always having to turn brides away, almost on an everyday basis, or like every other day basis.
Right.
It's like, it hurts my heart.
It does. I was about to say, I was like, we don't want to.
Yeah, it's like, we would love, especially me, I would love to get my hands on another gown, because we're not housed inside of any bridal store. We're in our own separate shop. So we are our own service, and we get gowns from everywhere.
Right.
So it's
and
amazing.
That's what I love.
Yeah.
Because you see so many different styles. And then that's how our students are able to perfect their skills, because they're seeing these different styles.
Absolutely. And so what the industry demands, it's like there's more than plenty to go around, okay? But because of the types of techniques that I've developed in the academy and so forth, and then we started like posting them on Instagram, right? So we started getting traction from the brides, and they're like, oh, how did you do the boobs, the belly, the butt? And it's like, oh, okay. And then we just kind of like went from there.
Yeah.
And it took off like wildfire. So the industry demands, I would say the demands aren't really challenging, because we can only take on what we can take on, and we say no to the rest. But the challenging part is to develop a bigger, better, team.
Yeah.
I
feel like that's the main thing.
That's especially the main thing for us. And so we're always having to constantly put our employees, which is our students, through the academy. And this is something that I've developed where, again, going back to the hybrid business model, not just the tailor shop, but the academy as well, and filming all of the alterations. It's like, this information needs to be out there more, right? So there's really no resources online that you can find. Like, have you searched and tried to find anything on, like,
of course,
how to get an answer, like, oh, should I cut my lace hem off, or can they preserve it?
Yeah.
Those are like basic questions.
You get so many different answers or responses to those, but it's not definite.
Yeah, so it's just a real challenge having to find those right team members. And, did we ever talk about our love culture?
No.
I was like, oh, we've developed a love culture. I was like, don't you just love?
Yes. That's all me. And I love love.
Yeah. So our love culture is basically where we support our, students. We encourage them to, like, in a sense, kind of make a mistake.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that they're going to grow.
Exactly.
And at the same time, we also allow them to be in a safe space so that they can get the necessary feedback that they need to enhance their own skill set, because it's a win-win. I mean, we're training them a skill set that they can pretty much just up and leave and take with them.
Exactly.
Right? And then, but at the same time, we're also trying to create a movement and save a dying trade.
Yeah. So also with all of that, we also want to develop leaders.
Yeah, if we don't have leaders in this industry, then it's like nobody's going to run with it. Because it kind of seems like, I started one thing and then you're now running with it. And then we're having our team to kind of follow in those footsteps. Right. Otherwise, it's just going to be random seamstresses all out there doing their own thing, and no one's sharing information. Right. No one's making the experience better for the bride. No one's working on better, bigger techniques. Right. And no one's
That's why it's a dying trade.
Yeah, no one's solving problems.
Right.
So
I can definitely relate to that. There's so many times that brides will walk in saying that they've gone to other seamstresses or tailors where they cannot do the alterations. And so then they come here and we definitely know how to fix the problem.
Yeah, because we keep up with, like, current trends and techniques, and we're always, ever developing our skill set to be stronger in that. And so that's part of, like, the demand in the industry is that, there's always situations that a bride will go through, but nobody's learning from it. Right. And then it's just going to happen again to another bride. So we need to put this information out there.
Yeah, I was talking to someone about that similar situation where I referred to ourselves as doctors, where they continue to learn.
Yes.
And that's how we are here. There's always something new to learn, and we're not just going to stop our training or experience.
Yeah, we're going to diagnose your dress dilemma, okay, or disease, whatever it has.
Yes.
Yeah. So the next thing is just we'll just talk about Ashley's responsibilities.
Oh man, that's a whole nother podcast.
Oh, I know. We'll just tap on the whole operational side of it.
I do a lot.
She does. She really does.
But I love it. I mean, it's coming from seeing how the industry was and how we can actually make waves in it with this concept and business model. My responsibilities is to keep that going and to continue with what Genesis has as her vision for this company. First and foremost, what I do, there's a front and a back, and I'm in all of it. I develop leaders, but I also am helping with the students and also doing customer service with the brides. I don't even know where to start.
I was like, let me jump in right there. Yeah. See, she needs another assistant.
Yeah.
So, and then basically going into my responsibilities is I'm Ashley's assistant. That's the way that it works. Yeah.
And it was hard to take for a second.
Yeah,
because I'm like, wait, I'm your assistant?
Yeah, so she's my assistant, but honestly, I'm her assistant because I'm working from home and she's
and living at the shop.
Yep, she's living at the shop, doing her thing, and taking on all the work. And so anything that she needs, I have to up and jump and go get it.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what is needed with my responsibilities is I am needing that support because what I'm doing is making things run smoothly, but I'm also needing the support to be able to do so.
Yeah, and so I basically just take care of whatever she needs, which is priority number one because it's what the bride needs, so what you need. And then it's just taking care of the daily stuff in the academy, trying to grow it. So there's lots of things lots of content that I'm developing besides training videos and all that stuff. And then at the end of it, it's just like I said, taking on paperwork.
Yeah.
And it's like the last 5 minutes at the end of the day is like having to do the paperwork stuff, and that's just all the boring stuff. But
because we want to be creative.
Yeah.
Do all the fun stuff.
But running this hybrid business model, first and foremost, as a bridal tailoring studio, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Right.
And let me tell you, especially when you have one artist working with another artist, that people who are creative and work with their hands, there can get lots of friction in between them because it's like, oh, well, don't tell me how to fix that or don't tell me how to stitch that. And it's like, this is why there are no teams out there because people aren't willing to just as they say, you know, like bite their tongue or
Right.
bite the bullet or take it with a grain of salt and just take, you know, constructive critique.
But that's what I like with our teams and what I'm trying to establish is the love culture.
Absolutely.
That there's no friction here. Everyone is happy to help. If you have a question or even collaborating with someone else, it's all that creative energy that helps everyone to be able to develop their skills and also to enjoy what they're doing still.
Yeah, so basically the love culture that I helped to establish here was, you know, all of that negative energy and negative experience that I received or that I endured, I should say, you know, working at other bridal shops and so forth, because I have. And it's
You had to
like,
go through it for us.
yeah, I've experienced so much negativity. I'm like, nobody's doing nothing about it. It's just like, this is how it is and it's going to be that way, but nobody's trying to make it better. I remember the last time, you know, that I did work for a bridal store and I cried. You know, I was in the alteration department. I cried and I'm like, I literally cannot do this anymore. I mean, it was some really nitty gritty emotions that not only did I had to witness and experience seeing the bride, but myself. Like, that was tough.
I mean, you'll be surprised. I had the opposite with what you had with the friction. There was just rude seamstresses around where I was working, and they would always say, "You're too nice."
Trust me, if you ever work with Ashley, she literally is like the nicest person in the world. I'm like, Ashley, like, you know,
there's no
toughen
need to
up.
be. There's no need to be.
That's true. And so, like, this is a part, like, where I lose my breath because it's like, you know, it's so stressful being in this industry, being in this situation, being in this lifestyle, you know, as a career path or whatever, so to speak. And it's like the whole love culture started because we shouldn't have to be stressed at work if the bride's stressed. You know, if there's just stress up front with the bride, if there's stress in the back with the gowns, it's like, you know, and ourselves too. It's kind of like my saying is, if we take ourselves too seriously, then who's going to take care of the brides, right? So this is something that we had to implement, and I think it's working out really well because, you know, I'm guilty of it, but like I didn't really know that like culture was a thing. I was like, what is this? I was like, you just show up, you know, go to work, do your thing, and you're good.
And
Check
you're
it off.
done.
And, you know, because me, I'm just very driven like that. And I didn't really pay attention to culture. And so I was like, oh, okay. So I had to learn the hard way. I learned really, really hard, you know, with multiple teams and different people in the past. But I'm glad, you know, I went through those experiences because it's made me a better, stronger, and more knowledgeable person today.
And then look what you were able to create because of that.
With the help of her.
Thanks.
Yeah, so if it was easy, everyone would be doing this. That's why you don't find this hybrid business model anywhere else. If there is somebody else out there that does know of one, please get in contact with us. You know, you can email us, submit it on our website at seamstressandthebride.com. We would love to find out, collaborate, or just to learn more. You know, I'm all about learning all the time.
Me too.
So the next thing I want to touch on is just kind of like, we're hiring, okay? We need people.
Hiring.
So we really are truly, it's like, with your permission, can I say, we're looking for an all-star, you know, teammate, running mate, businesswoman, a secondary intrapreneur of the intrapreneur, whatever you call that. We need that person. This is really hard to keep up with because lots of brides, you know, and the market wants what we have, but we can't keep up.
Right. We need more people, but the right people.
So as an entrepreneur, I'm still trying to figure this out. Like, how can we do this as a team? Because if we just all go off on our own, we're just our own entities or our own enterprises, I should say, making our own money, but nothing's getting solved. Nothing's changing. There's no movement. There's no problem solving. So I'm just, you know, I might be ranting already now, but I'm very obsessed with solving problems.
Yeah, you're passionate.
And I think that's what has made Ashley as well be a great successor to kind of what we've started here, because she recognizes that, and I didn't even have to show her. It was already there, and I'm like, okay, let me train you with this bride, and she can talk about all the problems that came with that.
With the training, or
Yeah, with what you saw in the fittings, with what the bride, it was repetition.
It was a lot because just coming from doing it the traditional way with fitting and sewing, coming into it this way, it made it more of an experience. It made it more like I was able to talk with the bride to see what she wanted and then to bring that to life. Similar to what I took from you was that with the business, your vision, and I was just like, of course, why isn't anyone else doing that? And so doing that going into the fitting, and then also just even talking with the girls, you see the change, you see the difference. There's knowledge being thrown around, there's creativity all over, and everyone's leaving happy. It's a love culture, and we love what we do.
Yeah, and so at the end of the day, for the technicalities to like fix the dresses and help the bride's, problem or dress dilemma is like, we have a system put in place. We have actual like mathematical formulas that work for our sewing. We also have rules of thumb that's very much needed when deciphering, to cut or not to cut, right? And then we also have tips and tricks.
Yeah.
So we've been able to like narrow down all those things and kind of to like one funnel. And then we just pick and choose from like those 5 elements. Right. It's like, okay, I have this problem, and then which one's going to match it best? And then I go with that, and then I just perform it.
So that's what we need too. We need people to think and look at things that way as well.
Yeah. So it does take critical thinking. We need a team player that can help us elevate this company, this brand, and in turn, like I can honestly say, and I know you for sure can say, but like we have grown ourselves.
Oh yeah,
going through this.
Yeah.
So do you want to, share some of that?
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to go into too personal, but you can hear in my voice I'm very soft-spoken. I was very shy, and
this is not shy, ladies and gentlemen.
And just like I would shy away. I didn't think that I would be able to talk so openly about things. But when you find something that you are passionate in or that you believe in, it just brings it out. Especially with Genesis too.
With others. Yeah. Yes. If you're sharing that either trauma or trial and or crisis or whatever.
Spread the word.
Yeah. If you're sharing that with somebody else, it's kind of like an accountability partner, So
it's like when you hear something and you're just like, wow, and I'm going to tell someone else about it. And that's how I felt coming in here. And I said, the whole world needs to know about this.
Absolutely. So another reason why we started this podcast, not just to help brides with their, dress dilemma, but also to share the information out there if you are a tailor or a seamstress or someone who would consider themselves, maybe they do little sewing hobbies, but they're not fully sure like how all they can monetize their skill set and whatnot. It's like, okay, you need to be a bridal tailor. That's what you need to do. There's lots of good money in it. Yes. So, because you're not just getting paid for labor, you're getting paid for your creativity. Things that, kind of like the custom work that we do, which is one thing we actually don't teach is custom work, because then it's just based on that individual's talent.
Right.
And they're like, okay, I know how to do those patterns. I know how to put it together. Okay, let me sign off on it, and then we can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we basically teach everything else, but custom is definitely truly one of a kind. But we need that businesswoman.
Yes.
We need that mindset. We need someone
adaptable.
Very interchangeable, adaptable, all of those things. Ashley's kind of like on the very, very soft-spoken end. I'm kind of on the very, very far other end of with lots of energy. This is like my girly side. It really is, because I grew up with 2 older brothers, and so it's like they were rough, and they were always watching wrestling, and they would get me in their wrestling bouts with them and stuff. So I was like, okay, so I had to keep up with my bros. And so I get very girly when I'm a bridal nerd.
Yeah,
when I talk about brides and stuff.
I mean, it's a whole lifestyle.
Yeah. So
I'm a nerd too. A lot of my brides, the first thing I tell them is I'm really girly when I'm here. I have 2 boys at home, so I can't get too girly there.
Right.
So this is my safe place to just, get all pink.
Exactly. And if you are watching us on YouTube, you know what we're talking about. But if you're just listening to us on your podcast platform, my half side of the room is like lavender purple. And Ashley?
It's pink. It's like bubblegum pink.
Yes, we love the bubblegum. So if we're trying to deliver that final message to the world as far as like who we're looking for, what would you want to say?
Oh, man. I mean, just someone who shares the passion, who believes in the vision and wants to help it grow is number one. I mean, I could go on and on with all the characteristics that I would like that person to have or the skills, but if
qualities.
if you're able to, be passionate about it, love what you do, to still want to have that knowledge to learn more, then you should try it.
Yeah, definitely. This is something that we feel that in order for us to be able to access that next level, within growing the business and within growing ourselves and our skill sets, we need that third party player, teammate, running
Someone
mate,
right in between us.
Partner. Yeah, somebody right in between us, the super soft and me. I'm the very out there energetic, even though I do consider myself an introvert. Yeah. I really do. Yeah. But one thing that I've noticed how I've broken out of my shell is like, even if I'm in a room or like with a crowd of people and I have to go talk or say something, I'm just like, okay, let me put on my business face. Because when I put on my business face, then I go in the mode of confidence. And I'm like, okay, because I would never really just normally do that on my own.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But if someone approached me and asked me about it, I mean, instantly, because I'm so passionate about it, I will definitely change and be more confident and tell you.
Yeah, so we just really need somebody to want to collaborate with us,
right.
Grow with us, build the brand, build the team, build the business. And we are taking a lot of this, I guess now I'm mentioning it to the world, but we're taking a lot of this online. We are using the brick and mortar as like a test period, we've been using it as like an experimental phase to see what all we can do with this. And I think we're pretty clear now on what we want to do. And so we want to continue to grow in various ways, but we definitely need help putting more content together and everything with the media, because we have to get this out there online. There has to be like one resource for kind of all the nitty gritty for the wedding gown alterations, because everything out there, let me tell you, it's about number one, wedding planning, which is the first thing, or like photography, and then the venue. It's like those things, but there's nothing on wedding gown alterations. So we can get more into that later, but
it's time to switch it up.
And time to launch this thing even further and create a bigger movement, make more waves. So if you're interested, please contact us.
Yes, help us level up.
Yes, we don't exactly know the process of that yet, but you just need to get in contact with us. And you can email us at seamstressandthebride.com. And then you can just put on the subject line, I guess, something like teammate or, leveling up the business or, I don't know, get creative, grab our attention, and then we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
So the last thing that I want to talk about is the bridal lifestyle, as I call it. It's like hashtag bridal lifestyle. It's like
we say it all the time.
Yes. So it's
just being like a bridal nerd.
Yeah. It's really being a servant to others. And when you are a servant to others, it kind of like helps to take the problems that you have on yourself and take them off you to help the other person with their problems, whatever that may be. And I love that it's like wedding gowns. Every day is the technical problem, but it's really not about the gown. It's about how the bride feels in her gown. It's about how confident she is in her gown. It's about everything that she wants to feel or how she's represented in her gown. So even though the gown may be beautiful, it's really all about her, and she's just in the gown, right? Yeah, so it is very rewarding. We get a lot of fulfillment out of what we do, and this is why we're still here.
Right.
I mean,
that's the best part.
Yeah, it really is the best part. I mean, we're like addicted to it. It's our drug. It's like, don't give us a gown because we'll like, want to dismantle and be like, ooh.
I mean, we love that challenge. Like, how do you want to look? Okay, let's do this.
Yeah, we always love, posing challenges on our brides and be like, oh, but can I show you one more thing, if you want the neckline to look like this, but wait a minute, I have something else in mind. So we just love to play dress up, and it's just part of our passion. And, having that love culture instinct, we're able to outpour that onto our brides as well, so to speak.
And that's why I think it goes with having it as a lifestyle, because this is how we feel. It's how we want to present it to the bride. Like, we want you to feel as good as we feel with creating it for you.
Yeah, so I guess we're talking to both audiences.
Yes.
So it's a hello brides, and it's like, and hello, tailors / seamstresses /
I mean, with me and my lifestyle, it's like I will always look at shows, like runway shows with the new styles, but even not just with bridal, of just what's popular in the season with the looks right now. What was popular in the industry are like big butts right now.
Yes.
And they're like, give me a booty. I'm like, hey, come to us.
Yes, we have our secret sauce, which, if you come to us, then you'll find out what that is, because we have to build it into your gown and, and chop off some other stuff. So,
yes. Or we'll teach you how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's pretty much it, what we have to share, at least for now, with what...
We'll have another one.
Yeah, with all the challenges and stuff that's going on right now, keeping up with the work, keeping up with building the team, going through the different seasons, and the demand of turning brides away and trying to find that next teammate.
Yeah.
We really want somebody to be, it's like I always tell Ashley, I'm not above you, you're not above me, we're side by side. And that's really how I believe we treat each other.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of how it genuinely has to be in that sense. Kind of like, even though, I always say, I might be like a Ross or like a boss, but like, I really love what I do. I like to get in the thick of it. Yeah, so if I have to get all down and dirty on the ground and all dusty just to pin a bride's hem, I will do that.
And I'll be right there with you. Or just help clean you off.
At least she's got my back.